Dear students, I am Dr. Barkha Rohatgi from Department of Applied Sciences, Kite Group of Institutions, Ghaziabad. The topic of today's lecture is applications of multiple integrals. So there are various applications of multiple integrals such as to find arc length of a curve, to find area, volume, mass and center of gravity, to find average value of a function, to find density, velocity and acceleration of a problem, to calculate improper integral, to calculate work, energy, kinetic energy, moment of inertia, and also in physics, especially in electromagnetism, Maxwell equations can be written using multiple integrals to calculate the total magnetic and electric fields. Moreover, we can determine the probability of an event with the help of double integration if we know the probability density function. But in this lecture, I am going to cover only those areas that are very useful with respect to engineering problems, such as to find area, volume and to calculate the mass and the center of gravity of the given solid. First of all, I am starting with area in Cartesian coordinates. The area in Cartesian coordinates is calculated by double integration using the formula A equals to double integration dx dy or A equals to double integration dy dx under the required limits. Here we have to find the area of the bounded region by the curves y equals to f1x, y equals to f2x and the lines x equals to a and x equals to b. So the area of the bounded region is given by A equals to double integration dy dx. Limits for y are variable and varies from f1x to f2x and of x are a to b. In this example, we are to find the area bounded by the lines y equals to sin x, y equals to cos x and x equals to 0. Before calculating the area, first we are to determine the region that is bounded by the given curves. So we are to plot these curves. First, we all know the curve of sin x, the curve of cos x and of course the line x equals to 0, that is y axis. So the bounded region by these three curves is given by this figure and shown as dotted portion. So look here, in the dotted portion I have taken a vertical strip that starts from point P and goes up to the point Q. I am choosing vertical strip, that means I am taking variable limit of y. So the limit of y starts from the point P that lies on the curve y equals to sin x and goes up to the point Q that lies on the curve y equals to cos x. So the lower limit of y is sin x and the upper limit of y is cos x. Now talking about the limit of x, for the limit of x we goes from left to right. In left the region is bounded by the line x equals to 0. So the lower limit of x is 0. Now for the upper limit of x, we are to find the point of intersection of the two curves y equals to sin x and y equals to cos x. On solving these equations, we get tan x equals to 1 and tan x equals to 1 gives us x equals to pi by 4. So the upper limit for x is pi by 4. Here the area is given by A equals to double integration dy dx. Since the limit of y is variable, so we are to integrate with respect to y first. The limits of y are sin x to cos x. So on integrating with respect to y first, we get integration from 0 to pi by 0 to pi by 4 from cos x minus sin x dx. And after integrating with respect to x and putting the values of upper limit and lower limit, we get required area as root 2 minus 1. Now coming up to area in polar coordinates, we know that the curves in polar coordinates are represented as r equals to f1 theta, r equals to f2 theta, and lines are represented as theta equals to alpha and theta equals to beta. So the formula of area in polar coordinate becomes double integration r dr d theta, and limits for r varies from f1 theta to f2 theta, and that for r and that for theta from alpha to beta. Now coming up to the example, we have to find the area lying inside a cardioid r equals to 1 cos theta and outside the parabola r 1 plus cos theta equals to 1. So first we are to plot the region of which we are to find the area. Plotting the region, we see that the dotted portion gives us the bounded region by these two curves, and the interesting thing about the region is that this is symmetric about the initial line theta equals to 0. So which is the region of integration? BDCAB. This is the region of which we are to find the area, and the region is symmetric about the initial line. So if we find the area of the region BDAB and we multiply it by 2, we get the required area. So we will do this for our convenience. Now for the region BDAB, it is very clear from the figure that theta varies from theta equals to 0 to theta equals to pi by 2. And talking about the limits of r, the lower limit of r is going from the r of parabola to the r of cardioid. So the lower limit of r is 1 upon 1 plus cos theta, and the upper limit of r is 1 plus cos theta. So putting these values in the formula of area and following the rule, required area equals to 2 into area above the initial line, we get A equals to twice of double integration r of parabola to r of cardioid theta equals to 0 to theta equals to pi by 2 and integrating r dr d theta. We get A equals to twice of integration 0 to pi by 2 r square upon 2, having lower limit as 1 upon 1 plus cos theta and upper limit as 1 plus cos theta. Now after putting the limit, we get the functions of theta, and we get A as A equals to integration 0 to pi by 2 1 plus cos theta ka whole square d theta minus 0 to pi by 2 1 upon 1 plus cos theta ka whole square d theta. On simplifying these, we get two integrations and we write them as I1 and I2. We are doing this just for our simplicity so that we can easily integrate the function. After calculating the value of I1, I2, I will put these values in the A and will get the required area. So calculating I1, I have limits from 0 to pi by 2 and function is 1 plus cos squared theta plus 2 cos theta d theta. In my previous lecture, I have defined that if we have limits from 0 to pi by 2 and function as cos to the power n theta or sin to the power n theta, we can use Wallis formula that is very easy to apply, and here I am using the same formula and I get I1 as 3 pi by 4 plus 2. Now for I2, here I am using substitution. We have I2 in the form of 1 upon 4 0 to pi by 2 sec to the power 4 theta by 2 d theta. First I have put theta by 2 as phi and get d theta equals to 2 d phi. And changing limits accordingly, I get I2 equals to 1 by 4 0 to pi by 4 sec to the power 4 phi dot 2 d phi. On simplifying this, I get I2 equals to 1 by 2 0 to pi by 4 1 plus tan square phi sec square phi d phi. Now I am again applying method of substitution. Let t equals to tan phi, so that dt equals to sec square phi d phi, and changing limits for t accordingly, we get limits from 0 to 1, and after integrating this I get I2 as 2 by 3. Putting the value of I1 and I2 in A, we get the required area as 3 pi by 4 plus 4 by 3. Now coming to the volume. First I am discussing volume by double integration, and after that volume by triple integration. In Cartesian coordinates, the volume by double integration is given by double integration z dx dy, and in polar coordinates we have v equals to double integration z r dr d phi. By triple integration, to get the volume, we have the formula of volume as triple integration dx dy dz. If the region is bounded by curves z equals to f1 xy, z equals to f2 xy, y equals to phi 1 x, y equals to phi 2 x, and x equals to a and x equals to b, then the volume of bounded region is given by triple integration dz dy dx. Here we are to integrate with respect to z first, since the limit of z contains more number of variables than others. So first we integrate with respect to z, and after that with respect to y, since the limit of y has one variable, and in the last we will integrate with respect to x, since the limits of x are constant. In cylindrical coordinates we have volume equals to triple integration r dr d phi dz, and in spherical polar coordinates we have volume as triple integration r square sin theta dr d theta d phi. In cylindrical and spherical polar coordinates we get these value from the change of variables concept. In this example, I am going to show you how to calculate the volume using double integration. Here we are to find the volume of a cylinder x square plus y square equals to 4, bounded by the planes y plus z equals to 4 and z equals to 0. Here it is clear from the question that we have the value of z in terms of xy as z equals to 4 minus y. So we are to integrate z equals to 4 minus y over the circle x square plus y square equals to 4 in xy plane. So the required volume V is given by V equals to double integration z dx dy or double integration 4 minus y dx dy. Here I have taken variable limits for x and constant limits for y, but you can take variable limits for y and constant limits of x, and accordingly you are to integrate. So after putting the values of limits, I am integrating here using the concept of even and odd functions and using the property of definite integral. So it becomes twice integration minus 2 to 2 integration 0 to root 4 minus y square, and then integrating 4 minus y dx dy, we get v equals to twice of integration minus 2 to 2 4 minus y under root 4 minus y square dy. I am again using the property of definite integral that includes even and odd function method. I get v equals to 16 0 to 2 under root 4 minus y square dy. Here I am using the formula under root a square minus x square, integrating with respect to x, we get v equals to 16 y under root 4 minus y square upon 2 plus 2 sin inverse y by 2 under the limits 0 to 2, and the required volume comes up to be 16 pi. Now in this question, I am describing you how to use triple integration to find the volume of a given solid. So going through the question, we are to find the volume of the cylindrical column that is standing on the area common to the parabolas x equals to y square and y equals to x square as a base and cut off by the surface z equals to 12 plus y minus x square. It is clear from the question that the column is standing upon xy plane as base. So the lower limit for z is z equals to 0 and cut off by the surface z equals to 12 plus y minus x square. So the upper limit of z is 12 plus y minus x square. Now we discuss the limits of x and y. To find the limits of x and y, we are to plot x equals to y square and y equals to x square in xy plane, and this we get this leaf type shape since the parabola y square equals to x is symmetric about x axis and x square equals to y is symmetric about y axis. Here I am taking variable limit of y, you can take variable limit for x also. Now using the formula of triple integration to find the volume, v equals to triple integration dz dy dx. First of all, the limits of z has more variables, so we will integrate with respect to z first, and after that we will integrate with respect to y since the limit of y contains a single variable in its limit, and lastly we will integrate with respect to x because the limits of x are constant, and continuing in this manner we will get the total volume of the given solid as to be 569 upon 140. Now we come to calculating the mass and center of gravity of a given solid. First we have a plain lamina. Plain lamina is nothing but a thin metal plate. So the plate has no thickness, therefore its mass will depend upon its area. So what will be the formula of mass? The formula of mass will be in this case density into area. The density of the plate may be variable or may be constant according to the problem. So if the area of the lamina is A and the density is a function of x and y, we have mass equals to double integration density into area, that is double integration fxy dx dy, and in polar coordinates we have m equals to double integration f r theta r dr d theta, and for a solid that has thickness also the mass will depend upon its volume. So the m will be triple integration density into dx dy dz, that is triple integration f of x y z dx dy dz. Now for calculation of center of gravity, let x bar and y bar be the coordinates of required center of gravity. Then x bar will be double integration rho x dx dy upon m, and y bar will be double integration rho y dx dy upon m. In polar coordinates, putting x equals to r cos theta, y equals to r sin theta, we get x bar equals to double integration rho r cos theta r dr d theta upon m, and y bar as double integration rho r sin theta r dr d theta upon m, where rho is the density that may be variable or constant. In this question we have a triangular thin plate that has its vertex on 0, 0, 2, 0 and 2, 4 and has variable density rho equals to 1 plus x plus y. We are to calculate the mass of this plate and the position of center of gravity. So this is a thin plate, so the mass will be density into area, that is m equals to double integration rho dx dy, and rho is 1 plus x plus y. Here I am taking variable limit of y that varies from x axis to the line y equals to 2x. So the lower limit of y is 0 and the upper limit is 2x. And from figure it is very much clear that the lower limit of x is 0 and the upper limit of x is 2. So integrating under these limits and integrating with respect to y first, as y has variable limits, we get the value of mass as 44/3. Now we will calculate the position of center of gravity of this plate. The formula for x bar is x bar equals to double integration rho x dx dy upon m. We have already calculated m. So putting its value directly from there, 44/3, we get x bar as 1 upon 44/3 double integration 1 plus x plus y x dx dy under the limits of for y as 0 to 2x and for x as 0 to 2. The position of x bar is 16 upon 11, and proceeding in the same manner for y bar, we get the value of y bar as 18 upon 11. So the coordinates of center of gravity of the plate are 16 upon 11 and 18 upon 11. So that's all from my side about the applications of multiple integrals. Hope you all get the general points, how to calculate the area, volume, center of mass, center of gravity under the given conditions for the problems that you will face through your engineering education. Hope this lecture will be beneficial for you in your future studies. Thank you very much.